Canucks from Alberta to Quebec and all separatists outside of that, those who talk so explosively about ending the crown or the monarchy are in fact fictitious. I tagged Hans Mercier and Benjamin Eble in this, and an American and a Quebec lawyer who pursued Quebec, the 51st state, has Party 51 Quebec. Now I do Canada 51, but this is for those who think that in Alberta under Danielle Smith or Quebec under Francois Legault, right now CAC, and all the parties in both provinces, there is no truth from Alberta to Quebec on ending any monarchy, gaining any independence, or that they tell you. Even when media completely lies to you. We need to get this straight. We need to get it out there. We need to educate so many folks. Starting with this fundamental truth. There is no breaking from the monarchy in Canada. There is assuming the same crown power and putting it on themselves at the provincial level. This is exactly what Quebec wants to do. It's what they present in Bill 991. No end to the monarchy. We take the power of the crown, we place it on our head, and we rule over you Canucks with ultimate authority. Meaning they haven't changed nothing. They just now have the power for themselves. Another elite subdividing the crown, but having the same evil power, the same central WEF, WHO, IMO, OIM, it doesn't matter. World Bank, all of it. World Financial, all of it. There's 28 of these NGOs from what? 9 kingdom powers from the old world, alive and well today, still ruling over all of Europe that way, the United Kingdom, much of the Middle East, Southeast Asia. Yes, it never ends. It never ends with those evil regimes. They want the same power. There's no anything in that bill that says anything other than taking the crown power and beating all of you, the slaves, over the head. No different than the central federal government, who will still do that because they will still have the power. There is no provincial assuming lieutenant governor. There's no territory who can assume territorial commissioner. There is no constitutional way. Zero, none whatsoever. Now, taking the oath and scrapping it for at least elected and appointed politicians, well, I shouldn't say that. Elected for show for all of you, but they still have to swear the oath as soon as they assume those offices, whether appointed at the provincial level or federal. It's a public lie. I like how Hans Mercier says, read the fine print. I gave the Constitutional Conventions Act to Francois Legault, to Premier Danielle Smith, both of them. Danielle Smith got it first. Do you know what she did when she read it? How to legitimately end the crown. Power to Albertans. And it went in the garbage. Because she loves the crown power. She does not want accountability. This is exactly the same thing for all of the separatists in Quebec. PQ, CAC, SOL, it doesn't matter. All of them are writing up the same thing. Oh, no, we'll take the crown. We'll put it on our head. Danielle Smith's Sovereignty Act is all about her power to rule over all of you and still reciprocating to the federal government. But give me the crown. Let me have autocratic dictatorial role. Quebec does the same thing. All parties, they say by words they want to end the crown, But then in the bill, they say, well, we can't. It's a constitutional power. But what we can do is assume that power for ourselves. We'll rule over you. We'll be your dictators. Trust us. Not one of us from Quebec to Alberta wants to write you, the people, into a constitution. We don't even want to give you the power to do that. America, yucky. Dictatorship, great. We're Quebec. We're Alberta. There's no freedom. There's no path to freedom from any of the political establishment, from the far reaches of separatists right across Alberta, or sovereigntists or autonomists. They're all absolute and unequivocally dictatorial military enterprise regimes who want Kanakas, slaves, serfs, peasants, savages firmly under their grasp so they can bite off all the life force from you and feed and gorge themselves. That's the evil of the crown. It will never go anywhere until you, the people, codify constitutions. Every province can do this. And until you hear a separatist from Alberta or Quebec talk about numero number one, provincial constitutions, you've got sweet shit. Sweet shit. Now I'm trying to articulate this very well. You can look at it. In 2022, I rolled out for all premiers, every single one, a roadmap for all First Peoples, pure freedom, nations within a somewhat nation. Then for the people of Canada in their regions at least, tremendous amount of powers for all of you to be hosted in constitutional conventions. I teach you how to do that, the path to do that, what a party can do legitimately. It's not everything, but it's a lot. It's a lot. A tremendous amount of land back for all First Peoples, all Canadians in their regions. But no, your crowns, whether federal or provincial, want none of it. There's no Quebec Bill of Rights, Alberta Bill of Rights that's for you. It's a reaffirmation of the federal crown's rollout from the charter that the Lord can giveth and taketh away at will. And if you think there's any kind of legislation in Alberta or Quebec that promises you anything, you're sadly mistaken. Quite the opposite. In fact, worse than the federal system. Why? Because there is not a single real constitution. There is executive powers acts, which give them ultimate military authority at the worst level of inhumanity the world's ever known and always known in the old world system before World War II. Outlawed around the world, be it Canada. Oh, look at us, we're good. Our slaves work hard because they're dumb. Look how dumb our slaves are. I'm sorry to make this video, folks, but there is nothing, I've read it entirely, that remotely resembles ending the monarchy. If anything, it's quite the opposite. It's empowering the monarchy at the provincial level, supersizing their autocratic authority with zero checks and balances, pure military dictatorship. This is what America warns all Canadians about. It's why America will never, ever let provinces break off the way they think they're going to. Just let us have the power without a single codified constitution. Just trust us. And I'm sorry, but even people like Benjamin Eble and Hans Mercier know you can't roll into some 51st state region when you've never had a constitution and you have no plan to enshrine one for the people. This is numero uno one. It's always been there. It's a tremendous amount of the work I've done. Yes, modeled largely off the United States, but there are other fine examples around the world. And I've grabbed all those. I put it into one document, but yes, America is primo. It's numero uno one. Look at all 50 of the U.S. states. Look at their histories. It's incredible. It's awe-inspiring. And if you aren't seeing any of that, Canadians, from Quebec to Alberta, and you've got some dictator telling you, give me the crown, without any kind of legislation to restrict me, you're barking up the wrong tree. And I promise you, the one thing the United States will never allow is you to subdivide that and create even more and more problems. Never. They have enough problems with Canada in its broken, double-cross, double-speak constitution, where there is the power to do all that, yet no premier wants to do it. Not one single registered party in Canada, provincially or federally, wants to do that. When you look at something like Bloc and PQ at the provincial level and then the federal oversight level, these are fraudsters, charlatans, snakes in the grass, lying to you. Danielle Smith and her CPC are no different. They're the same evil liars who want the same evil autocratic agendas. Complete and utter control over the Kanakis. If you can get the correlation of what a Kanaka is, that's you. That's you. Someone who lives on someone else's land, toils knuckle to the bone. Yeah. A slave. A real slave. And if you ever want to know the history of it, there's a great man who once lived. His name's Dr. Malcolm X. Read his speech to the grassroots. Its entirety. Not just a clip. All of it. Watch the video. He teaches you everything you got to know at the basic human level. Everything you have to know about socialism and fascism. He achieved much by nearly the end of his life, which would be the end of his life when the organized religions got wind of what he was saying when he came back to America, and he had a new message, an ultimate message, where he ran down socialism and fascism, how these were two great evils. He even told you the best is about the field Negro and the house Negro. An excellent, excellent teaching, probably the greatest one for anybody in the world to learn from. That man was exceptional. We see him all the time. I just want to give a big shout out to Hans Mercier. You nailed a lot there. I waited. Quebec takes 2 days to release documentation. I wanted Bill 991. I wanted that in its entirety. Plus I needed it in English. I've read it entirely. There's nothing in there about ending the crown. It's all about assuming the crown power. Ultimate authority with zero laws against them, meaning no restrictions, none whatsoever. There's not much in the Canadian Constitution, but it is there for us to enact. Whereas at the provincial level, through the Executive Powers Act, once they assume that power, there is none and no avenue for any people. This means all Albertans and all Quebecois will be damned in a military dictatorship like some of these South American regimes, Middle East regimes, and then watch some fanatical religion based on their interpretation of their crown power. Imagine that taking hold, being told what to wear, being told what you're going to learn in school, and if you don't like it, you'll be arrested. That's what we're talking about here. You want to talk about taking experimental drugs or being forced into institutions? That's what we're talking about here. That's how extreme and bad it can get. And if you think it's not true, I have a pile of world history to show you otherwise. And that's what we're talking about at the provincial or territorial level, without provincial constitutions, without any checks and balances, which don't exist according to your Executive Powers Acts of the provinces and territories. Tremendously scary. Tremendously scary. Assuming the power of lieutenant governor does nothing. It only gives the crown without any restrictions to a provincial leader. Can you imagine? Zero check and balance, zero codifications to restrict anything. That is a recipe for disaster. That is all that's rolled out in Quebec's legislation. It's the same thing for Alberta. No constitutions, no we the people. It's you the Kanaka. Whether it's a Quebecois or a regular Canadian, doesn't matter. They will destroy you. They will utterly enslave, shackle, and dehumanize you. Just like the First Peoples. You ready for an Indian Act? Because that's what Quebec and Alberta are going to lead you all to. That's my truth. Share, share, share. Undeniable, credible, 100% deadly accurate. Get it out there. Be the difference. Be the change. God bless everybody. Bye now.